And I know you're well aware of all the leader programmes and what the great work that they do. But and that's why I want to raise it as well. And I suppose today I even listened to Morning Ireland this morning, and I was listening to their Taoiseach this morning, and couldn't really give a straight answer about where the lead. He couldn't about where not only the CAP budget, I suppose, and where the CAP funding is going to be spent, but leader projects. The local development companies are particularly vulnerable within even the CAP overall budget. So I suppose that's, and they are, and I suppose you know yourself the amazing work they do on the ground about addressing poverty, you know, economic development and social inclusion. But you know, like, I suppose it's very hard for them to plan if they know that if the money isn't going to be ring fenced. And I know the MEPs have been very engaged with this, and a lot of, you know, your own party, all parties actually have been very committed to this. So I suppose that's what I'd love to see, is what commitment can we say that it is going to, even if it's not within the CAP budget, if it's going to be ring fenced, that it's going to be that the money is going to be ring fenced for it, but also the SICAP budget as well. And is it, you know, for new communities, the new arrivals portion of the SICAP budget, is that going to remain in place, or, you know, whether you like it or don't like it, is it going to stay in place? And if it isn't, though, like, the SICAP budget is usually comes quite late anyway. You know, to most of the local development companies, that the SICAP budget arrives quite late. But I suppose because they have this additional new arrivals fund, they were able to manage, you know, manage that fund themselves. But if that isn't, you know, if that new arrivals money is not going to be there, when is the money going to be given to SICAP, I suppose? Can they be sure of a date? But there is real concerns that there is a move towards, I suppose, military spending, and that it is going to, and this is, I suppose, it's not just leader companies, Minister, you know yourself this, it's not, and I mean, Sligo Leader and Leitrim Leader provides such an amazing opportunity. We know this across the country, but it's in general, there is a worry that the CAP budget is going to be decreased and it's going to go more to militarisation. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Senator. Minister to respond.
Good morning. Thank you, Ciara. Can I thank both Senator Stevenson and Cosgrove for raising this very important matter today. And I think at the beginning, I'm not going to reveal the budgetary process because we haven't got to that point yet. And I think the point you make, Senator Cosgrove, in the context of the spending on military alliances and defence has happened across Europe. And that's something that we can't close our eyes to. And in particular in the eastern flank, as the Taoiseach said in the Dáil yesterday, we're a peripheral nation here, a bit ajar from what's happening with Russia. But in saying that, can I just say to you that last year, Minister Cleary and I in our department secured a record €11 million in the budget for SICAP and the Leader programme, which are two of the key interventions which are delivered as part of the ongoing government investment in our communities. And I wanted to share yours and Senator Stevenson's regard for what's been done in terms of the extraordinary work, the Trojan work. It is really about strengthening, empowering and enabling communities, and in particular new, diverse, inclusive communities across our country. And both Minister Cleary and I have worked together hand in glove on this, and we've seen across the country, as you know well, the real tangible benefits that are being delivered across Ireland today. Can I say to you that as elected representatives in this House, we know the work being done. We see it in our own areas, but we see it also across the country. And I suppose the Leader programme has been the very heart of what rural Ireland, in terms of its development for the past 35 years. And it's the key element in our department's rural development investment programme. And both Minister Cleary and I are committed in the budgetary process to keep that momentum going. Under the current four-year Leader programme, €180 million available to rural communities across our country. To date, local action groups have approved over 1,300 projects, valued at over €64 million, and I look forward, Minister Cleary, to seeing those projects coming to fruition in the coming years and months. As you rightly said, Leader is funded under the Common Agricultural Policy, and therefore that development of the e-regulations related to post-27 CAP and the new National Regional Partnership Plan is a matter of significant importance to our department and to both Ministers Cleary and I. And within that draft regulation, the continuation of the Leader programme as a CAP intervention is first of all to be welcomed. I do appreciate and acknowledge the contributions you've made, as many members of my own party and others have made, that the changes are causing uncertainty, and I get it as I travel the country the whole time. As part of the ongoing negotiation process, our department has consistently, and I have travelled to Poznan in Poland, Minister Cleary's been at the Council of Ministers meeting. We've emphasised at every opportunity the importance of a ring-fenced allocation for Leader programme to ensure that the post-2027 programme can continue to play that vital support in rural communities across our country. There are, which I know you will understand, many details that remain to be finalised as part of the negotiation process to put that regulations in place, and the discussions at a detail level are continuing. It's expected, as we assume the presidency today, to continue during our term of office as the President of the European Council. And can I assure both of you and all of members of the House that our department and both Minister Cleary and I will continue to engage directly with our European colleagues, with the Commission, to ensure that LEADER programme continues to be well funded into the future. You mentioned SICAP. It is our national, primary social inclusion programme. It's doing huge work. Without it, look at the levels of poverty we would have, the exclusion rather than inclusion we would have, and look at the disequality rather than equality that we have, or the inequality rather. And we are supporting disadvantaged people and communities, and I want to pay tribute to local development companies for their work. It is part of the budgetary estimate, I conclude in this, Cathaoirleach. Last year we secured an extra 1.5 billion in the budget, which brought SICAP funding to, since 2022, 11.3 million. That means we have in excess of 50 million to be spent. And I'll come back in a minute to other points in my reply.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Cosgrove to respond, or Senator Stevenson.
So yeah, thank you, Minister. And we know the work that they do on the ground, but the danger is that, and this is why I think we should use our EU presidency now to ensure that, like the Northwest particularly I'm talking about, that the Northwest has been downgraded to a lagging region within the EU. And that's, I suppose, it's areas like that we know that the employment opportunities, building sustainable communities, promoting, I suppose, a green, ethical farming, all those things come under the CAP budget and come on and has to be ensured that we have this commitment. And I know you, Minister, I know yourself and Minister Cleary are very committed to leader companies and to SICAP. But it's trying to use our voice. So we joined the EU in 1973. It wasn't a military operation that we joined. We joined it so that we'd be better for all the people living on the island. And that has to be taken into account, I suppose, when you're looking at areas like the Northwest that had been downgraded with the EU status to a lagging region. And I don't think any, and that's what the case I think that we need to be arguing during our EU presidency.
Can I again thank both members for raising the matter, Cathaoirleach. We have a shared ambition, I think all of us in the House, in regarding SICAP and regarding LEADER. And Minister Cleary and I are very committed to ensuring that we have a well-funded CAP that supports not just farm resilience, environmental ambition, but also strongly reinvests and invests in rural Ireland. I am genuinely acutely aware of the challenges that remain and that are faced across many parts of our country. You mentioned the Northwest. And in the programme for government, we have a very firm commitment around the whole allocation of funding in terms of SICAP. We are living in a different world now, and that's the sad part, and that's the battle we must fight within Europe to ensure that that money is not spent disproportionately, that we must spend it in a different way on people that has real tangible benefits. We will work at European level to ensure that investment is targeted at the needs in terms of the local priority, but also in the work that we're doing. And I make the point to many, and I've said it in many different fora, without what we're talking about this morning, SICAP or LEADER or CLAW or whatever, we're in big trouble as a world. And that's our job, to continue to fight for that. And we will do that. And I want to just thank you both for raising the matter. I can't give you certainty regarding the budget process because that hasn't started yet in terms of the allocations of money. But please be assured that both Minister Cleary and I will do the very best we can to ensure that the funding allocations continue to be where they are today. Gramadh.